The Galactic Empire had conquered 100 species before humanity ever lit its first fusion engine, and they had grown accustomed to an easy rhythm: intimidate, overwhelm, demand surrender, install governors, extract resources, and move on. They expected the same pattern when their attention finally turned toward the blue planet spinning alone in a quiet spiral arm. What they received instead would be repeated in their histories for millennia, whispered with dread, because nothing in their storied campaigns prepared them for humans. General Vorkath, clad in armor forged from the plates of extinct megafauna, stood at the center of the Imperial Hall, a chamber so vast it swallowed sound before amplifying it into thunder. His voice reverberated through the Empire's official broadcast channels as he called humanity a primitive, coward-born, panic-driven race. His words dripped with contempt. They hide behind their oceans and forests. They flee in every battle recorded. They lack courage. They lack will. They lack spine. Humans, he declared, are cowards. Nothing more. Millions of alien citizens watching across the Empire erupted in laughter. Their propaganda networks repeated the clip endlessly. Memes formed. Songs were written. Children on distant worlds mimicked humans by squealing and covering their faces dramatically. A few analysts voiced caution, but their concerns were dismissed. Imperial confidence had long since metastasized into arrogance. Still, even arrogance does not survive truth, and the Empire was about to learn truth brutally. The Empire's High Council directed the first strike against 2 human mining outposts orbiting a small red dwarf far from Earth. The operation lasted exactly 9.2 minutes. Not because humans fought bravely to the last soldier. Oh no, far worse in the eyes of the Empire. The outposts were abandoned. The Empire's soldiers found only fabricated shelters, empty offices, and automated mining rigs humming peacefully in silence. Not a single human corpse was left behind to honor the Empire's victory. To alien commanders, this was confirmation. See? Humans ran. Humans hid. Humans abandoned their own people. The outpost's evacuation logs were dismissed as cowardly retreat. The Empire never guessed the truth, that humans had moved every worker in under 3 minutes with a precision that suggested terrifying readiness. While Imperial propaganda boasted that humanity was already collapsing, Earth's leaders quietly gathered in a sealed chamber beneath the Atlantic Federation complex. The room was struck from all public maps. No electronics were allowed in except sealed quantum recorders that wiped themselves every 90 seconds. The council members watched Vorkatha's speech again. No one spoke for the first 30 seconds. Then the recording cut off, leaving a thick, simmering silence. There was no trembling, no fear, no despair. Only a cold tightening of jaws. Only eyes that grew sharp, not soft. The chairwoman finally spoke in a voice quiet enough to be lethal. "He believes we ran," she said. "He believes we fear him." Another commander responded, "Let him believe it." Earth had always known the Empire would eventually come. Every radio wave, every broadcast, every tiny leak in the cosmic sea eventually reached listeners. Humanity had prepared, not loudly, not boldly, but silently. They built fleets in shadows. They trained individuals in forgotten deserts, sealed bunkers, and orbital black sites. They prepared programs that most of humanity would never know existed. 2 programs in particular were classified beneath 27 layers of clearance: the Baba Yaga Protocol and the American Boogeyman Initiative. These were not armies. These were not squads. These were singular anomalies, human beings shaped in ways nations would deny until the end of time. But Earth had hoped never to activate them. A young intelligence officer placed 2 sealed folders on the table. No names. No faces. Just symbols. The twisted spiral of the Yaga, the slash-mark silhouette of the boogeyman. Even the council turned away slightly when the folders opened. The chairwoman whispered something that sounded almost like a prayer. Elsewhere, across the Empire, unease began forming in high-level intelligence corps. They reviewed Earth's historical patterns, rapid adaptation, unpredictable tactics, disproportionate retaliation when cornered, and a cultural obsession with mythic monsters. Yet when researchers tried to correlate human folklore with military behavior, they laughed themselves out of the room. Humans are obsessed with fear, one analyst scoffed. Their stories reveal a weak psyche. But other analysts weren't convinced. A few began digging deeper into Earth's psychological tendencies. They found disturbing anomalies. In every major war, humans shifted from hesitation to overwhelming aggression the moment civilians were threatened. Some called it berserk logic, others saw it as survival instinct weaponized, yet the Empire interpreted this wrong. They saw desperation, not resolve. The mistake would cost them planets. Their unease grew worse when Earth went silent. No messages, no broadcasts, no civilian chatter. Earth's networks vanished behind encrypted veils the Empire couldn't penetrate. They assumed this was fear, but predators misunderstand prey most when it stops running. Meanwhile, in the Empire's cultural archives, historians uncovered fragments from ancient human folklore. Baba Yaga, the witch, the death walker, the child stealer, the bone grinder. Boogeyman, the shadow in the closet, the step behind you, the unseen presence that crawls under the mind's skin. At first, aliens interpreted these as amusing superstitions. But then they discovered something chilling. These same names appeared in classified human military files dating back 80 years. Redacted reports mentioned Yaga-level clearance or boogeyman containment conditions. Alien scholars told themselves humans were simply dramatic. But the Empire had never encountered a species that turned its nightmares into job descriptions. 2 days after the destruction of the outposts, Earth's most confidential broadcast was transmitted. It consisted of a single sentence: activate Protocol Yaga. Initiate Boogeyman. No further communication followed. In the Empire, prisoners whispered a question none wanted to hear. Why did the humans name their weapons after monsters? Rumors spread that Earth was preparing something unimaginable. Imperial soldiers laughed this off. Let them send their monsters, they joked. We have armies. But even soldiers felt a strange tension in the air, an instinctive feeling that something hidden had awakened. Earth mobilized silently. General Vorkath celebrated his so-called victory with feasts and broadcasts. He boasted that he had broken human morale. His sub-commanders flattered him endlessly. The Empire loved a triumphant narrative. They needed heroes, and Vorkath was ready to be won, but cracks formed. A scout cruiser approaching Earth reported seeing strange distortions near the asteroid belt, moving shadows that slipped past sensors without triggering alarms. The crew dismissed them as glitches. Hours later, the cruiser's black box recorded 6 final seconds of data before the ship vanished from existence. The last recording, a single human whisper, too distorted to identify. Empire analysts couldn't explain it. Their best explanation? A nebula storm. Their worst. Human tampering. Meanwhile, Earth's fleets activated in perfect silence. No flashy launches. No public announcements. Their fusion trails were masked with gravitic dampeners. Every ship carried an emblem only the highest command recognized, a white circle, inside which a black figure with no face reached outward. Human soldiers were briefed with chilling simplicity. We will not start this war, but we will finish it. Deep in a sealed facility beneath the Siberian ice, a woman stepped barefoot onto freezing metal. Her eyes were empty in a way that made even her handlers avoid her gaze. Her breath did not fog. Her pulse barely shifted from its resting rhythm. Her name was erased from all records at 16. She had no family, no history, no hesitation. She was humanity distilled into purpose. Her only words before deployment were, "The general insulted my species." Her codename had survived centuries in myth. Yaga.